Welcome back, Fantasy A Team Nation. I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and tonight's video is going to focus on our top 5 2021 fantasy defense.
I have 10, so I'll add 5 more.
Yeah, he's going to try to outdo me. But as you guys seen, I have Zach back as my co-host tonight. So let's welcome back Zach to the show.
Yo, what's up? I'm Zach, the fantasy guru, just back to lend some hand and information for you guys to help win your league. Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and spit out the number 1 pick.
Okay, so to start off our top 10, I got Washington's defense. They're just all around really good. They put up 47 sacks last year. They had 156 pressures. Sacks was 8th most. The pressures was 9th most. They had 16 interceptions and 47 sacks. So that's going to get you a lot of numbers. Plus, they hold teams to less than 20.6 yards per game, and they only allowed 304.6 yards per game, which is second overall in the league last year. So they're a brick wall.
Yes, they are. I also have Washington as my number 1 ranked defense, being led by Chase Young. He's just a monster down there on that line. So that's the reason why I got him at number 1.
I agree. All right, for number 2, everyone, I got Tampa Bay. They had 48 sacks last year. That's awesome, man. I believe that's number 1 in the league. It was tied for 4th. And they had 15 interceptions. They only gave up 22.2 points per game, and you know how they scored like 30 or more. So, and they only gave up about 327 yards per game. So they're a great pick for your number 2 defense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also have Tampa down as my number 2 ranked defense. They just know how to stop the run. You don't get a lot of running yards on that team. So that's the reason why I got them at 2.
Yeah, I agree. So for my number 3 team, I got Baltimore. They only gave up 18.9 points per game. That's not very many. They had 39 sacks and 10 interceptions. They gave up 329.8 yards per game, which isn't a ton when you consider how many yards most teams are putting up these days. So that's why I got them at 3. They're hardcore deep.
Yeah, I've got I'm gonna have to go with the Browns. They've added some key pieces to that line. That's just gonna make them better. So that's the reason why I went with them.
I agree. They're solid. I actually have them at my number 4, so it's funny. I got them at 4. They had 38 sacks, 11 interceptions. They only gave up 26.2 points per game. Gave up 358.4 yards per game, but I believe they will truly be much better this year, and look for the sack and interception numbers to go up. Look for the yards against them to go down, and I believe the points against them will go down. They'll be higher on the list, I believe. They're going to have a good defensive year. I like to run the ball, too, so they keep the other offense without the ball.
Yeah. My number 4 pick, I'm going to go with Baltimore.
We flip-flop those 2.
Yeah, we did flip-flop. And I'd say the reason why I dropped them to number 4 is because they lost some key pieces. Instead of adding anything, they lost. So I think they'll probably slide down just a little bit this year, but I was going to keep them in my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Those losses are going to hurt. Let's just hope those next man up and the scheme holds up. So at my number 5, I had Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had 58 sacks last season, 18 interceptions, only gave up 19.5. They were stingy. They only gave up 305.8 yards per game. I mean, they're just one all-around solid defense, so like a wall. So couldn't go wrong with Pittsburgh. They could easily, I think, be higher on the list, but I have them at 5. And then, so since he doesn't have any more, I'll just rattle these off real quick for everybody.
Yeah, I've got Pittsburgh down as my number 5. So
oh, my bad.
We flip-flopped. So, but just like you said, they'll be a good defense, worthy of a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I absolutely. Well, then I'll jump right in and get my last ones rattled off here. I got LA Rams. They had 53 sacks last year, which is second most, 14 interceptions. They were real stingy with points, 18.5. So people, it was hard for them to score once they got to the red zone. They only gave up 281 yards per game, which is really stingy on the yards. So they kind of had some bad beats last year. They're just an all-around great D, and you can't ever put a defense out that has Aaron Donald on their team. So definitely could easily be in the top 5, but I got them at 6. The next pick I got at number 7 is Indy. They had 40 sacks, 15 interceptions, gave up 22.6 points per game, and 332 yards per game against them. I believe they're going to have another great year, and they could possibly even have more chemistry and be higher on the list next year. We'll see. Next, I got Buffalo at number 8, 38 sacks, 15 interceptions. They only gave up 23.4 points a game. They did give up, however, 352 points per game, but I still believe they're on the rise. So look for them to be better this year, so they'll be having higher numbers. Now I got number 9, New England. It's Bill Belichick. What else can I say? He will, a full offseason, he'll have this team ready to play some defense, especially behind Mac Jones. So they only had 24 sacks, 18 interceptions, gave up 22.1 points a game, which means they were holding people in the red zone. And but they still gave up the 353 yards per game. And like I said, all I can say is Bill Belichick. So if you need a defense, you couldn't get one of these top other ones, man, grab them. You won't be sorry. So last but not least, San Francisco. I just think they're all around great defense. They have a great defensive coordinator. So they had 30 sacks, 12 interceptions. They give up 24.4 points a game at 314.4 yards per game. Like I said, it sounds like a lot, but they seem to always stall people in the red zone and give up field goals. So I believe they're worthy of a top 10. I've got a couple other honorable mentions. Well, actually more than a couple, but I believe Arizona is going to have a great season defensively wise and offensively wise. So I look for them to be in the playoffs. So Arizona, I think, can have a lot of sacks. They have a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They got great secondaries. They're going to end up with some interceptions, probably even score. That's one of the things I'm going to touch on here in a minute, scoring defenses. The other one is, of course, I got to go with my team. My boy Andy Reid is, greatest head coach, I think. And then my boy Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. I believe the Chiefs defense secondary is going to stiffen up. We have a better front interior and outside defensive ends. Our linebacker core has gotten a lot stronger. So look for our D to get better. And our special teams is usually electric. So that might turn out to be that they're kind of a sleeper. Even though I didn't put them in the top 10, they might end up being a top 5 or top 8 fantasy D. With that said, I can throw down a few more: Chicago, Miami, Denver, New Orleans, the Chargers. And then going back with the scoring defenses, last year, Indianapolis had 6 scoring touchdowns. Baltimore, Kansas City, LA, New England, and Philly all had 4. Carolina, Dallas, Jacksonville, Miami, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, and Washington all had 3. And then, the others are kind of mediocre. You got your Chicago, Cleveland, Green Bay, LA, New York, Giants had 2. And then whoever else is left had 1 or 0. Really not worth mentioning. But just to give you guys an idea about not only defensive yards and stuff, but also defenses that turn turnovers into and the points. So special teams really matter. So with that said, man, some of these might help you guys win your leagues because defenses are easily overlooked a lot, and you can usually get a lot of points out of them. So happy drafting, everybody. I know everybody's looking forward to this next ending of this weekend before the season starts. So we wish you all the best luck. Hope all these videos helped you guys. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because there's more videos on the way. Thanks a lot.
Great bit of information there, Zach. As always, we would like it if you would give us that like and hit the subscribe button. And always remember, friends don't let friends auto draft.